The Queen's Gambit Holosuite program has finally arrived. A weird alien has a gravity emitter hidden in his ring to help his friend cheat at the Dabo table, and Odo pays special attention to his scowl. Hey, everybody, welcome to the 7th Rule with Cirroc Lofton, just in time.
Yeah, right on time.
He knows how to make an entrance. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and today we're doing a review of Deep Space Nine Season 5, Episode 17, A Simple Investigation, written by Renee Echevarria. How are you today, Cirroc?
Doing well. Just recuperating and getting back in the flow of things from my Ethiopia and everything else. But we're making moves.
You know, speaking of which,
everybody out there who's been supporting to 7th Rule, we really appreciate all the love.
Yeah, we do. Speaking of which, just we are getting back in the swing of things. We were at Star Trek Las Vegas, also known as 55-year mission by Creation in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was thinking about it today, and I was like, is this the afterglow of Star Trek Las Vegas, or is this like the hangover that we're in? Like, are you, or is it more like a hang glow? Like, you know, like, are you feeling like you need the week to recover from it? Or do you feel like you've got the week of like being above the clouds from it? Maybe that's a free-for-all question.
Yeah, you know what? It's a little bit of both. Because, you know, part of it is just a lot of work because we're out there working all day and then trying to do our little bit of partying at nighttime. So
it catches up a little bit.
Yeah, it catches up after a while. And then the other thing about Creation is that, you know, the event starts Tuesday. So it's almost a week long.
Yeah.
So that makes it almost like doing 2 conventions in a row. Because usually I'm ready for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of convention, and this is adding another 3 days on top of that. So with that in mind, it's like, oh wow, this is like, it's kind of like after you finish going to Disney World, you're happy about all the rides and the experience, but you're also kind of tired from walking around the park for a week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little mixed emotions, but I have to say that there's a little bit of a glow because I really got to see people that, you know, have been supporting us and our producers and our whole 7th Rule family. That was an opportunity for us to just see each other face to face, and, you know, just sharing and basking in the love, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm riding off of a high from that for sure. And also seeing the fans that come up and have been anxious to get out. That was another kind of experience that was worth it. But yeah, no, I'm still trying to catch up on all the things that I've been missing out for a month, essentially, by not being at home and being away. So I have a whole backlog of things to do. And I've been doing my best to knock them down one by one.
Right. By the way, this episode was directed by John T. Kretschmer. I forgot to mention that at the top. And I was looking
Who's that? John T. what?
Kretschmer. And I was looking up the date. It was actually March 31st, of 1997. So I believe that was after quite a hiatus, because I think the last one was in February. So it seemed like there was a month off in there somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, welcome back to the land of the living, guys. Boy, oh boy. So this was a pretty peculiar episode. Let's actually give a quick shout out to the associate producers that we saw at the convention last week, right? There was
I love it, yeah.
Marie Segal. There was Bill Victor Arucan. There was Darlena Marie Blender. There was Yvette Blackmon, TJ Jackson-Bey.
Homer Frizzell.
Homer Freezy out somewhere in New Yeezy. There was John Mann, Muhammad Noor. It was a good time. We even had a nice lunch, and Mark Zicree crashed our lunch. Shout out to Mark Zicree for crashing our lunch.
Yeah, it's a good person to crash. It's worth.
That was fun.
Definitely good to have him crash.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got so many things that he's working on. He said he's building a whole like network, all of these things, and doing 6 different shows. Of course, Mark Zicree has like he has a motor in his mind because he just goes nonstop as long as you can just keep talking and talking and talking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, this guy. I kind of don't want to download his thoughts. It might be sensory overload for me. But he's a sweet guy, and very nice of him to spend time with us and be so available as he always is.
Also want to give a super quick and final shout out to 2 of our newest patrons who we got to meet at Star Trek Las Vegas, Mike Goo and Stephanie Baker. It was really fun hanging out with them and getting to know some of our newest members. Great people there.
Yes.
Welcome to the team. And now,
and all the people that were our listeners that we don't have a name for, or just that introduced themselves. And I met a lot of people at the con that were avid listeners to the show, and some people even said they didn't miss many episodes at all. So to all the listeners out there, you know who you are, and we thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. And also encourage you to come up and say hello when you get a chance, because it really does make us feel good to know that we're reaching people and that people are looking forward to seeing some of the content we'll put out. So I really appreciate that as well.
Right. There's nothing we like more than somebody actually telling us, hey, I watch your show. And we had some people message us or tweet or comment saying, hey, I saw you guys at the convention, but I didn't want to bother you. And we're like, bother us. We love it. We love hearing from you. We love meeting you. We love hearing from you. Come by and bother us.
Yeah, there's one place to bother somebody about Star Trek. It's at a Star Trek convention.
That's why we're there.
That's actually the designated place to bother.
Not at the pizza parlor, at the Star Trek convention.
Right. Not when I'm in the bathroom. That's a bother.
Sorry about that. That was only twice.
Yeah. Well, Ryan, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I've forgiven you already.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, I think it's just great. The outreach was great. The support was tremendous. Every time I try to promote the 7th rule, 9 times out of 10 they would say, "Oh no, I already know about it and I already listened to it, but I will take that flyer with me anyway." So there was actually it was good feedback, a lot of fun. And everybody's so generous with their spirit and loving, and I really feel like we have a huge family on our hands, and really thanks to Aron Eisenberg for having this vision and seeing this day before it happened. So that was also nice to kind of pay homage to him and to see his dream come to life.
Our favorite human in the world. Yeah. Shout out to our favorite person. Yeah. Favorite human and Ferengi, right? He's going to have orange fingers either from the Ferengi makeup or from the chicken wings. Anyway, so this episode, almost feels like we're stalling. Let's see.
Yeah, well, Odo gets some nookie. It's just it's Odo's. How old is Odo? Because he could qualify for the 40-year-old virgin.
I definitely think he's in his hundreds or something. As far as
he's got to be 140-year-old.
Probably. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, who knows? They didn't really talk about his age. And I don't even know what the founder's lifespan would be like.
I think it's infinite. I don't think they die.
Yeah, that's an interesting question to figure out. But I mean, this is all about Odo, and it's funny how many love interest stories Odo gets as a character, right? We saw him with Majel all over him. We see him in the Akira's character, kind of going back and forth. So they're really pushing.
We see him and Quark getting lonely together.
I wasn't going to say anything. But yeah, they're always pushing this kind of this human experience of love on Odo, right? And it's like they really want to discover the side of him that's in touch with his emotions. We see him as an emotionless person, as somebody who's really just. I think he even makes a reference to it in this episode. He says something like, uh, she said, "Yo, your wrinkle here is a little bit different." And he said, "Yeah, every time I morph, I'm slightly different, but I do keep a rugged face of scowl, yeah, rugged scowl for being imposing and kind of getting his point across." So we see that rugged scowl, that kind of monotone face, but he has so much emotion as a person. Kind of feels like he's locked up. He's closeted emotion person, and he's getting in touch with those feelings.
Since you brought up that specific scene, I had to rewind like 3 times because he did say, "I look a little different every day. I pay special attention to my scowl. An air of stern suspicion is very important in my line of work." And then he growls sexually at her.
Yes.
He says, "An air of stern suspicion is very important in my line of work." Yarg. Like, Murr.
Yeah.
And it even in the subtitles, it even said growl. And I was like, wow, Odo transport, like he got it one time and he's just like, "I am Casanova, everybody. I'm a caveman. Yar, I'm gonna get you."
Yeah.
He was just,
his animal instinct just started popping up.
Can we talk about just how much flirting and subtext was in at least the first 2/3 of the episode? They were just it seemed like almost every line between them was a flirtation, whether it was, on the nose, like her saying bedroom eyes, or whether it was very subtle, like when she says, I don't know, when she, when she says, when they're talking about the bedtime talk, and she says, like, what do you do instead of going to bed? And he says, "Oh, I become a gelatinous state." And she goes, "Ooh, that sounds relaxing." And he's like, "It is actually." She's like, "I'd love to, have some of that gelatinous state," or what. I don't know what was going on there, but I was like, Deep Space Nine, you are so naughty today.
Yeah, they went full naughty on this episode. Definitely started out. I mean, Odo's bedroom eyes. Just to say bedroom eyes in general, I'm like, that's being very direct and pretty blunt when you literally place somebody in the bedroom, right? Like, I want to be looking up at those eyes in a bed. That, at least that's what I get from it when somebody says that. So right away I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let's see how is Odo going to be, because usually he's turned off, right, by aggressive women. And I felt like that standard was set by Major Roddenberry's character, kind of, trying to attack him and, all over him, like, "I want you, I want you." And I felt like Odo was the type of guy that is turned off by aggressive women. But he seems to be the opposite in this episode, because this woman is very aggressive and she comes right at him in the beginning. But I was almost thinking in the back of my mind that she was one of these kinds of aliens that have this ability to use her emotions in a certain type of way, right? And make people fall for her.
Right, like the mind sucker that did that to your character last season, right?
Right. I was kind of bracing myself for that this whole episode. I was like, well, is there something about her? Does she have like some kind of power, some kind of like an empath, or does she have these telepathic abilities to be able to seduce people? Because she mentioned working for Drain, the Ryan Syndicate guy, and she mentioned that I guess part of her duties is working for him is being this kind of a sounded like prostitution to me to some degree, but I guess a mental one, right?
Yeah,
Letting people in her mind, you
that
said?
was really interesting. I definitely noted that down because that was kind of a new thought. And by the way, the character was in The Muse, the episode where she was kind of controlling your mind
Right.
in a borderline sexual way. But yeah,
Yes.
it was like a net girl, she called it, which is instead of letting men, metaphorically or literally in their bodies, they're letting men in their minds. And I don't know about you, but that kind of made me think of like, well, it's obviously creepy, but I'm like, I guess I could see how some guys would be like, no, I want to be in her mind. I want the whole experience, And that does sound like quite the violation. Actually, there was something kind of similar in Star Trek Nemesis, a movie, the last movie of the Next Generation, in which the Deanna Troi kind of gets like mind raped, like it was raped telepathically. So I don't think this
Mhm.
is quite that by the Remans, played by Ron Perlman. By the way, he did that. The great Ron Perlman. Um, she, so this is a little different because it's not necessarily, you know, a telepathic rape. I'm assuming it sounds more like it's just a mental trespassing or mental violation but she's just like, okay, but even like prostitution, they still have, control of their mind, their thoughts, their pride, their hopes, their dreams, their secrets, whereas something like this is
Mhm.
just a whole scale uh
Violation.
access
Yeah.
to everything that they are, I guess. I mean, they didn't go into details, but it opened up that theory in my mind. I don't know, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, it did. It opened up that theory as well. They kind of just brushed it off to the side, so it was
Yeah.
like one line in this episode. They didn't really go into detail, but it opened something in my mind when I was like, did they just say that? Or so she basically is, um, you know, prostituting herself in that kind of a way, not a physical way,
Hmm.
but more of a mental way. And I thought that's an interesting concept. Allowing somebody into your thoughts and in your mind and in your head, and allowing them to connect with you in that type of way. I thought, wow, you know, um, that's interesting.
Hmm.
It seems like we're getting to that point now with how much information is available online
Hmm.
about us. How information is being collected by all these various companies. It seems as though they're trying to peer into our minds, right? Like you might have a conversation with somebody about a topic, and next thing you know, that topic pops up on your YouTube feed or whatever algorithm, and
Oh,
you're like, "I
yes,
was
it
just talking
does.
about that."
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, "I was just talking about that," and then here is an advertisement for it, or here is
Yeah.
an email regarding that. So it's almost as if they're really trying to accomplish that in our day and age, which is, get inside our heads and
Hmm.
figure out what our thoughts are, what our dreams are, what our ambitions are, what do we want to purchase, what do we like, what pages we visit, what websites we visit, how much our eyes are, watching particular things. So we're almost geared towards that right now. We're getting to a place where that's becoming a reality.
Yeah, control freaks would get off on that so hard too, because they'd be like, I want to know everything, like people that are like super controlling, they want to know everything that's going on with the woman they like or the man they like. Um, but then also there's like maybe a certain amount of voyeurism in that. Maybe they just want to like see what they're seeing or experience what they're experiencing. And there's a certain amount of voyeurism possible there. And right now our listeners are like, God, you guys, it ain't that deep, but it kind of is. Like it was kind of, like you said, it was just like a one throwaway line. But when they say that, you kind of go, wow, that kind of opens up a whole new realm of possibilities with that. And you're right. We are getting closer to that right now. Even when she just said a net girl, I was like, well, that actually sounds like they knew where the internet was going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they literally went there. The other thing I thought was kind of similar to I don't know if you remember Total Recall with
Hmm.
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Oh
but
yeah.
there were some themes of Total Recall that were borrowed in this episode.
Hmm.
Um, Particularly the erasing of the mind and planting new memories. Um, that was also used in Blade Runner, um, the original Blade Runner with Harrison Ford. Um,
Harrison Ford was in Blade
so
Runner.
yeah, wasn't
I
he?
didn't know. I don't know. I think I remember Richard Hurd in there, but I haven't seen it in so long. I don't know.
Is in Harrison Ford Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Then he was in. Yeah, he's the original Blade Runner.
Gosh, I should have.
Uh,
I need to watch that again,
yeah.
I guess.
Oh yeah, he kills Blade Runner. As a matter of fact, that movie was directed by a very famous director. If I can find his name here, it's a 1982 film. Yes, starring Harrison Ford and directed by one of the great directors of our day, Ridley Scott.
Oh, we know Ridley Scott very well.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite movies, actually, Blade Runner, because it deals with the I don't know if you've seen it, but it deals with implanted memories, and it deals with androids living
Right.
amongst humans, and if you could tell the difference. And
Yeah, I don't know if I
um,
saw. I feel like I saw parts of it. Maybe that's what is. And isn't Richard Hurd in that movie as well? Like he gets his face, like he pulls his face off or something like that. Anyway, I guess I have to
yeah, I
watch it.
don't see Richard Hurd. I do know that Edward James Olmos is in it. I think one of his first big movies.
What movie am I? Everybody at home, what movie am I thinking of? I swear, Richard Hurd rips his face off.
Maybe that's the second Blade Runner out of the remake that they made
He
recently, because the
peels.
original is 1982.
People are typing in the chat right now. They're like, "No, that was obviously whatever it was." Thought
Yeah,
it
they're
was.
saying that's a different movie.
It's a different 1982 movie, or 19, if maybe even 79 or 8. Anyway, all right. So good Blade Runner knowledge. By the way, the lady's name was Arissa. Oh, and looks like we have to go to our first break. So we will hit that break, and we'll come right back on the seventh rule. By the way, we're going to talk about Arissa. We're going to talk about Odo's Growl. We're going to talk about the secondary plot, the B plot that was extremely tiny. We're going to talk about the NAMs, if there
Extremely
were any.
tiny.
Oh, I found one NAM.
Oh, you got a
Uh,
NAM? I'd like to hear that one on the other side.
yeah, so we'll get all into that. Boy, oh boy, we're going to get into this. And by the way, Arissa, the character's name, congratulations, Cirroc, because I know the Lakers just acquired her. Her actual first name is Trevor.
Oh gosh, we should have cut about 30 seconds ago, just
We'll be
before
right
that
back
joke.
on the seventh rule.